what I want to share is my dad. First and foremost, he was a soldier, a warrior. Okay, and he loved our country. He loved the United States. When my mom and dad, that whole story is like a love story. How they met in the Philippines and how they reunited back in, I think it was Oklahoma City. Make sure you guys get a copy of this because it talks about the love story, okay? And it sounds like a story out of the Bible, okay? Because my mom and dad, when they met, it was during the war. They weren't really in love with each other, but they met during the war, and it wasn't until afterwards they got married. Because my mom she was real young. She was like younger than 14. Did you say 14? I don't know. Anyway, my dad was in, I'll give you just a really rundown because I know we're pressed for time, but my dad was in college in Manila, in the ROTC, and this is when the Japanese, and by the way, my dad is half Japanese. I mean, my dad's name is Susumi, and they changed it to the Catholic name Paraiso. That's the way to say it, okay, everybody? Paraiso. Anyway, so during the war, my dad joined the Philippine Scouts and fought alongside the U.S. Army. Okay, and my mom was living there with my dad, my grandpa, who had a civil service job. He got captured. My mom was displaced with her brothers. Okay, this is the story that they told me over the years. And so what happened was they had no place to go. My mom was actually at one time engaged to be married with another guy, and he ended up that happened to know my dad. They were friends, and my mom's fiance got tortured to death, so to speak. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to give you like a bad story, but anyway, my dad, yeah, read the book. My dad ended up taking in my grandma and my uncles and my mom and my Auntie Dixie, okay? And so that's that story. And then eventually they got them stateside, safe, and along with my grandpa, and he was in a camp. This was near the end of the war. And then my dad eventually came to the United States, and then he was an Air Corps guy, and that's another story. But he took my mom up in an airplane and did some tricks and scared the heck out of me. Anyway, but they got married. So it's just a lovely story that my dad lost his father at an early age. So take that, and then marrying my mom, having 9 children, 4 had miscarried. So out of all that, it's no surprise that my dad would always say, more babies, okay? And so it was all about being fruitful and multiplying. We were raised Catholic. We would say the rosary, and he would say that during war. Oh, wow. Anyway, he would say the rosary when he was at war. And so my dad was like passionately faithful man of God, really believed in God. And he believed that family was also important. And he believed that country and family, love for country, and so be fruitful and multiply. That's a scripture. I don't know if you guys read the Bible, but it's a scripture. Be fruitful and multiply, and that's what this is. It's an exponential explosion of who we are and how it's turned into all a bigger family of friends. So I guess anybody else want to share? We have 3 grand prizes. Your grand